Great awakening, light lords, and grand rising to those who have not yet awoken to the simple fact that your mind is the sun and your feelings is the moon. What we're going to acknowledge today is how we are connected to the sun, moon, and stars. What I showcased in my last video was the unity of mind, how excuse me, how other lives connect, and I'm basically explaining the science of how your consciousness transforms into everything that's around you for you to see. In my last video, I explained that with our mind, we make a pulse, and then with that pulse comes a frequency and vibration, depending on what energy we are pulsating through or pulsating with. Usually, most of the time, the energy we're pulsating is thought, and thought can basically be transformed into any other energy. It's another energy that is fractal to everything else in existence. Basically, you have the sun, right? The sun gives off light. Now, I'm not going to give any references and citations and stuff like that for the simple fact that the sun is literally giving off light. The sun is literally giving off light, and that light is what's helping everything exist on this plane of existence. It's what's helping everything move and be, and live, and vibrate, make all the atoms vibrate, all the, everything that we see here gets its primary source of energy from the sun. So we can clearly see that we're connected with the sun. But okay, what we have to do is we have to correlate this with how we exist as human beings, with human thought, with the human construct, the human thought form. What we have to do is take into consideration that without the sun, we wouldn't exist. But the sun actually represents something. The sun actually represents the mind, because light, like I said, light is just another form of thought. Thought is another form of light. When you close your eyes, or when you're asleep, you're in darkness. This is how you know that the sun is darkness. The sun is actually darkness. The sun is giving off light, because when you're in your mind, you're in darkness, but you give off thoughts, and these thoughts are being expressed. This thought becomes light. It lights up realms. Okay, it's basically what the sun is doing. The sun is lighting up this space of basically quantum. It's a quantum field. It's a quantum field of all things happening at one time and nothing happening at the same time. So what your mind is doing is basically the same thing. You go into this darkness, and within this darkness there's nothing there. But at the same time, when you think, when you pulse, you create that frequent vibration of a thought. Then you begin to light up realms. You begin to light up a realm depending on what you are tuning your mind to think about. What frequency, what reality you are tuning your mind to actually experience it within your mind's eye. We beam, our consciousness beams itself from the sun. We are not actually here. This is not actually happening per se. our level of consciousness of what we actually are needs to upgrade. Our level of consciousness, and this is why I'm doing these videos. Our level of consciousness actually needs to upgrade, because if you can think of possibilities, then you are living within those possibilities in the quote unquote future, which means you're not actually here. You're actually you're you have you actually nowhere. Okay, your consciousness is everywhere at the same time and nowhere at the same time. So you're literally, when you think of something happened in the quote unquote past, you're just connecting with another self. You're connecting with the subjective form of your objective self that was in that radio wave. You see, what's in that reality. And when you think of doing something, then you're connecting with another self. And this is happening each moment. This is happening, down to the smallest, millisecond, or the smallest, fraction of time. When you're thinking of doing something, then you're actually tuning your mind through your brain to connect with those selves, or that self, that's doing that thing. So it's just happening like that. Truly, you are nowhere. Your mind is beyond the concept of time. Time is only predicated by your own subjective time. Basically, your mind is only predicated by your own subjective way of looking at it. That's why everyone on this plane experiences time differently. Yeah. So the brain is two magnets. You have the left brain and the right brain. What the left brain is doing is it is attracting and repelling things that it has been programmed to see as logical and not logical and illogical. And what the right brain is doing is attracting and repelling things of anything that can exist, basically, whether it's illogical or logical. So they're basically, they're two magnets, magnetic devices in our heads, in our bodies, that are actually like a radio tuner, like how you got your radio tuner in your car where you go to FM and AM. And depending on what thoughts you're thinking, depends on what brainwave states that you will be in, and then those brainwave states would dictate what you feel and what you will do, how active you are. You have alpha, you have beta, alpha, theta, and delta. And beyond these four is the gamma waves. The gamma waves is the highest, the highest waves, because they encompass all of the waves. They encompass all of the brain waves. And you can go study all this information yourself. I'm not going to give you any references. I urge people to go study the knowledge themselves and actually apply it, not just study it so you can, think you know something. Because knowing is less than half the battle. Knowing is way less than half the battle. So when you tune into these different realities, every one of them has a sun, because the sun is literally stemming from your thought, from your mind. The sun is literally your mind, like literally. That is why so many ancient civilizations and religions, they worship the sun. And they didn't just worship it because it was just they just thought it was a ball of light in the sky. No, they literally, scientifically, there was an age on this planet, which we are coming to again, where everything was strictly about science. Everything was strictly about studying nature. Everything was strictly about, knowing our place in the universe, and knowing what everything that we see, is in nature, and what's around us, and how we can use it to do whatever we want to do, to make more, beneficial things happen in everyone's lives. And that age is coming back around. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. The sun is literally your mind. The sun dictates activity. The sun dictates what will be experienced in the realm. Your mind dictates what you will experience in your life, in your subjective life. Objectively, you are the sun. Objectively, you are the quantum entangled particle. You are the black hole. You are non-existence existing. You are the living paradox. You are all of the laws of the universe that exist and that hold realities together. And you are nothingness at the same time. Everything that could possibly exist are the laws, are dictated by the laws. There are seven natural laws that hold reality in existence, hold consciousness in existence. And those are mentalism, vibration, polarity, correspondence, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. Each one of these are what helps us come from nothingness and exist into something, all of the something that we are. What you're experiencing right now is actually just a piece of what you actually are. You are more than what you think you are. What you think you are is a piece of who you actually are. And that's what your body is. That's what this experience is. What you're doing on a daily basis. So when that connects with other lives and unity, we must acknowledge that we all are literally the sun. And without the sun, we wouldn't exist. So we shouldn't do things like spray chemtrails in the sky, blocking the sun. Everything on this plane is a version of the sun, so we wouldn't mess with the water, pollute the water. We wouldn't make, GMO foods or, foods that are not conducive completely to our genetic codes. We wouldn't be doing the bullshit that they're doing on this planet, man. Just simple knowledge, man. That's what people are missing. The simple correlation between what we're reciprocating with on a daily basis, where we can acknowledge about ourselves that is actually gonna, benefit us. Benefit us on a daily basis and have us not worry about things that are, we're not worried about this simulation as much. So yeah, the sun is the mind. The sun is your mind. And if it's your mind, it's everything's mind, because you are the only thing that exists. And everyone is just a reflection of you. And everything that you see around you. The trees, the sky, clouds, water, the ground, man. Everything is just a reflection of you, man. Now, our consciousness streams from the sun, and everything is a fractal version of your mind, which is the sun. And so you have the moon. Which reflects light from the sun, right? The moon reflects light from the sun when we're going through the cycle of what we call night, or sometimes it's in the day sky as well. But that's not the only purpose of the moon, because we must acknowledge that The moon is a fractal version of the sun, and we are fractal versions of the sun, water, and all of that. And our bodies are made up of over 70% water. And the moon controls the tides of the oceans. It controls the water on this planet. It controls how the water moves based on its cycles, based on its rotations. And its rotations are the vibrations of the feelings that we have. When the moon, depending on where the moon is, how close it is to the earth, and what cycle it's in, will depend on how people feel. If they're not fully conscious of, how they can manipulate those energies. So basically, the moon manipulates the water within your body. You have water, you have fluid all over your body, and, primarily in your brain. And not primarily, but your brain is for you to it's a receiver of the body. It's a receiver and a projector of the body. So when you have this water moving around your body, it's affecting you physiologically and emotionally, metaphysically. And when the moon is moving around and doing what it's doing. So why do we have this connection with the moon? The moon has a gravitational pull. It has a space-time pull, four-dimensional space-time pull on the Earth. And the Earth has also a four-dimensional space-time pull, aka gravity, on the moon. So the moon is literally pulling the water. The moon is literally pulling the water and moving the water around on the Earth, which means it's pulling your water. The water that's in your body is pulling and moving around the water that's within your body. And it is making you feel certain things. It's making you look at life at a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Every moment, that's what the moon is doing. So when you go deeper into this, you can acknowledge that your feelings, your emotions, your imaginations, your thoughts, the way you think, all of this is being manipulated by the moon. So what does that mean? It means that the moon is literally sending and receiving information from the sun, and to and fro from the sun, and to and fro from the sun, and to and fro from you. It is literally a satellite. It is a transmitter. The moon is a transmitter that is pulling and pushing because of gravity, aka four-dimensional space-time curvature. It's pulling and pushing information from you and all your reflections to the sun, and from the sun, back to you. And it's manipulating, everything, your thoughts, feelings, and your actions, if you're not fully conscious of it. The point of this is to, become more conscious of the fact that you're the sun. And the sun expresses all light. And that way you'll have more control over the cycles of the, how you're affected by the cycles of the moon, by the satellite. So when you go to sleep, you are literally, and you have a dream. When you go to sleep and you have a dream, before the dream, when you go to sleep, your body is updating. Your body is basically on a charger. You know what I'm saying? That charger is the negative ions of the earth, and being in tune with how the moon is pushing and pulling the information. The moon is a satellite. The moon is updating. The moon is literally updating your information. It's updating your information to a celestial clock. There's a celestial clock. There are astrological ages that are happening right now. We're on the cusp of Pisces, between Pisces and Aquarius. I like to say that we're bringing Aquarius. We're manipulating Aquarius because that takes away the illusion of separation. We're bringing Aquarius here, the age of Aquarius. But that's a topic for another day. So basically, the moon, when you go to sleep, you're recharging, and that recharging effect is literally coming from the negative ions and the information, the subtle light, the celestial light that the moon beams to the planet through the water, and that's going into your water. And we know this scientifically proven that water has memory. Water holds information. Some doctor guy did it. I'm not gonna do it because any references you can go. You know what I'm saying? A few people did it. A few people did it actually, but I don't remember their names and stuff like that. So you can go study it yourself. But water actually has memory, and depending on the intention of the conscious beings around that water, surrounding that water, and what they speak to the water, and how they think around the water, how they move around the water, what shapes they put the water in, determine the type of information that water holds, and the type of information that water will express. Now, basically, that's what we're doing. Our bodies are doing that. Whatever you're thinking, and whatever information you're taking from the moon and the sun and the stars and stuff like that, that's all getting downloaded into that's all getting updated into your water system, in your body. Your body is a device. So yes, when you go to sleep, you are rejuvenated. You feel rejuvenated when you acknowledge what's happening and can know what to do. When you're asleep, you're supposed to sleep closer to the earth. You're supposed to literally sleep on the ground under the moon. And if you fall asleep in the daytime, regardless, you sleep on the ground. Those negative ions will help the water in your body stabilize themselves and connect with the 7.83 hertz of the earth, 7.83 hertz of frequency of the earth, the natural frequency. And you will automatically, feel godly, because all is God. You are very divine. You are a deity. And when I say you, I don't mean your body. I mean your consciousness, your subjective consciousness, stemming from your objective self, is a deity within the all, or the primordial chaos that you are. The primordial waters. You see, the primordial waters of Nu, the base of everything, basically the base of all existence, is where all information stems from, and it comes from a place of imagination, of just seeing something that could be possible. So when you go to sleep, whatever you can see is possible, will be, it's being backed up throughout the whole day. All the information that you're thinking and seeing, doing and feeling and all of that, your subconscious, is being downloaded into your water within your body. So when you have a dream, here we go. Now we're to these dreams. Into these dreams. So when you have a dream, you're literally experiencing the process of a recap of the different realms and realities that you are connecting with, and an update of the information on how you can actually accomplish those things, how you can actually experience those realities and bond with those realities. This is because when you go to sleep, the moon, when you go to sleep, the moon, like I said, is pulling and pushing information. It's pulling and pushing information. So it takes a piece of your consciousness, and it pulls it from the earth. It literally pulls this information from the earth through your celestial body, or your they call your astral body or whatever. And so it's pulling this information, pulling your piece of consciousness, and it's projecting it to the sun and whatever other, wherever other you go to the sun. When you go to sleep, the moon is a satellite. The moon pulls a piece of your consciousness from your, you know what I'm saying, current reality that you're experiencing, and it shoots it to the sun. And depending on what information was within your consciousness, in your water, in your primordial waters, because your primordial waters is the water within your body, it correlates to one another, and it literally shoots. The sun breaks this down because the sun is your mind, and it shoots you off into whatever star system or galaxy or other planets, that connect with the realities that you have enclosed within your cells, within your water, within the water within your cells. This just happens on a bigger scale when it comes to quote unquote death. It happens on a bigger scale. Our consciousness streams from the sun. Everything is a fractal version of the sun. The sun is our mind. Everything is a fractal version of your mind. The moon is a satellite connecting the sun and our points of consciousness and the rest of the universe. And it manipulates the water within the body, in turn manipulating the feelings, and manipulating how you will think about certain things. And it also rejuvenates the body when you're asleep. It helps to rejuvenate the body. And during this rejuvenation process, it's updating the information. And if you get to dream, then you are experiencing this information being processed. You're experiencing what information is being filtered out and what information is being put back into you. Okay? So that's all I wanted to talk about today. Jamashak is here to live out and teach higher wisdom as an example for the collective consciousness. And Jamashak is transforming lives with this information. Jamashak loves himself. Jamashak loves himself because love is understanding. And the process of understanding something is actually love. If you truly love someone, or you truly love something, or yourself for that matter, you will take the time to diligently study everything about yourself and how you connect to everything around you, how you connect to everything that you experience, because it's all you in the end. I love myself. Peace.